regarding America's election infrastructure. Regardless of where you fall in the political spectrum, understanding exactly how leaders construct their arguments and frame their policies, that is an absolute superpower. Today we're doing a total rhetorical breakdown of a recent speech focused on election integrity. We're going to deconstruct the exact language and the logical steps the speaker uses to present their case. So let's get right to it and see exactly how this announcement was built, literally from the ground up.
The absolute core philosophy of this entire speech basically boils down to just 4 words, a foundational equation, if you will. No trust, no greatness. Now, this isn't just some catchy bumper sticker slogan. It actually acts as the rhetorical anchor for the whole shebang. By putting this statement front and center right away, the speaker establishes a direct cause and effect relationship for us. The implication is that national greatness isn't just about, having economic power or a massive military. It's fundamentally downstream from the faith that citizens have in their own systems. And this exact framing, it immediately skyrockets the stakes. We're no longer just talking about a dry policy update. We are talking about a matter of national destiny.
So how exactly does that 4-word equation apply to what we're talking about today? Well, the speaker argues that securing the voting process is the ultimate priority, like a challenge that absolutely has to be addressed right now. Why? Because you simply cannot have national trust without fair and honest elections. The logic chain they're building here is incredibly deliberate. If we follow the reasoning from that initial equation, no fair elections means no trust, and well, no trust means no greatness. Therefore, securing fair and honest elections isn't framed as just some administrative duty. No, it's presented as the urgent, absolutely non-negotiable prerequisite for the nation to even achieve or maintain its greatness.
To tackle this urgent challenge, we see a really distinct shift toward highly energetic rhetoric. Notice the call here for bold, swift, and decisive action. The speaker emphasizes that they've actually been championing this exact level of response to protect America's elections for many years now. And this phrasing, it's highly strategic for 2 main reasons. First, it paints a vivid picture of a super proactive approach. This definitely isn't about sluggish bureaucracy. It's about immediate, strong momentum. And second, by claiming this has been a multi-year effort, the speaker establishes a real narrative of consistency. They're positioning themselves as a persistent, long-standing driver of this specific cause.
Okay, so what does this bold action actually look like in practice? What's the baseline expectation here? The speaker outlines 3 concrete, basically non-negotiable benchmarks for every American who casts a ballot. Number 1, accurate vote counts. Number 2, a highly secure system. And number 3, keeping cheating and interference at bay. By breaking everything down into this clear 3-part checklist, the speech seamlessly moves us from that high-level, abstract philosophy about national greatness straight down to the mechanical, tangible expectations of the average voter standing right there at the ballot box.
Let's zoom in on that 3rd point for a second, specifically looking at the phrase, virtually impossible. The speaker makes a very careful, very deliberate distinction here in their rhetoric. They state that the system must be one where cheating and interference aren't just difficult, but virtually impossible. Now that is a massive shift in framing. Think about it. Making a crime difficult implies a certain level of risk mitigation, right? It means putting up hurdles, but ultimately accepting that, yeah, some bad actors might still slip through. But by demanding it be virtually impossible, the speaker establishes an absolute zero-tolerance standard for election security. It sets an exceptionally high bar for what even constitutes a successful voting system.
But right here is exactly where the narrative tension completely snaps into place. We just established this zero-tolerance ideal, right? A secure system where cheating is virtually impossible. Well, now the speaker pivots, stating that our current system falls catastrophically short of that standard. I really want you to notice the power words being used here. They don't just say the current system needs improvement or has a few flaws. No, they deliberately use the phrase catastrophically short. This really sharp, dramatic contrast between the idealized standard of absolute security and the stated reality of catastrophic failure, it creates an immense problem in the narrative, a problem that of course absolutely demands an immediate solution.
Which brings us right to the climax of the speech. Having established those philosophical stakes, the strict benchmarks, and that catastrophic gap in current reality, the speaker introduces concrete executive action, and they do it with incredible urgency, anchoring it all on the word tonight. The announcement is broken down into 2 distinct structured steps. Step 1, the immediate declassification of intelligence, and Step 2, the public release of that critical intelligence. By outlining these specific steps, the momentum of the speech shifts entirely. We go from diagnosing a systemic problem to initiating real-time unfolding action. It essentially transitions all of us from passive listeners into active witnesses of an ongoing event.
So, what exactly is the nature of this critical intelligence? Well, look closely at the phrasing used to describe the upcoming release. The speaker claims this intelligence reveals shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. Notice how this dramatic framing totally prepares the audience. Using the word shocking sets this crystal clear expectation that we aren't just getting a bunch of mundane bureaucratic data. Instead, we're being promised deeply alarming evidence designed to directly support their earlier claim that the current system falls, as they said, catastrophically short. It masterfully builds this intense anticipation for the material that's about to be released into the public sphere.
And that leaves us right at the edge of the exact unresolved tension the speaker designed this announcement to create. The philosophy has been stated, the standards set, the current system condemned, and the action initiated. But the actual contents of that action, well, they remain just out of sight.